The Bible, yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the Word of God, the Bible.
Welcome to Quincy Point Congregational Church, Summer Church School for All. We have a wonderful guest today who's reading her book, the book that she wrote. These last weeks you've listened to all the chapters of the Chuck Swindoll's book, and we were so happy that we could present that to you. And now, for a special treat, we want Rev Ann to share her book. And it's just a thought, but when you listen to this story, maybe you can think about, what would I write about if I was going to ride on the carousel? What story would I make up? And so Reverend Ann's going to share her story. Thank you, Reverend Ann, for coming.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it very much. We love having you here. Reverend Ann was our pastor for 15 years, was it?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, 15 years, and we loved every minute of it, and we're glad she's back. So now I'm turning it over to you, and here we go.
Several years ago, I thought about writing a children's book. And I wanted that book to help someone. And I decided that the book could benefit the Paragon Carousel. They're a wonderful group of people in Hull, Massachusetts, who saved and restored the Paragon Carousel from the old Paragon Park. And this is a carousel that's very, very special. It came to us in 1928 from the Philadelphia Toboggan Company, and it is being lovingly restored and open to the public every late spring and summer. To me, I always say it's a pocket of joy.
Nice.
In a difficult and challenging world. It's important to have a place where you can go, no matter what age you are, and experience that joy. So this is a book about a 9-year-old boy. His name is Matteo, and he is very wise, and he also is accepting, and he knows all about joy.
Okay.
So I hope you enjoy this book. 9-year-old Matteo Marino knew it was morning before he even opened his eyes. Bold summer sun warmed his room. Salty sea breezes tickled his nose. Saturday sounds rose from the sidewalks in the north end of Boston. He knew it was time to get up and get ready for a trip to Paragon Park with Nona and Nono. Matteo hurried down the hallway, looking for his grandmother and his grandfather. Nona's laughter called him toward the kitchen. It sounded like music. Her laughter was love. Caro mio, a hug and a kiss welcomed him into the kitchen. His oldest sister, Angelina, was standing by the door with a new hat. Where are you going today, Angelina? I'm going to the talkies with Cousin Luca, she replied. Oh, Cousin Luca says I'm not big enough to play baseball with him and his friends. Nona looked into Matteo's eyes, touched his shoulder, and said, you may still be small, but you have a big heart, Matteo. You look at the world with eyes of love. You see inside. You see a person's true gift. Do you really think so, Nona? Said Matteo. Nona came up behind Nona and asked, Matteo, what is Angelina's gift? Matteo thought for a moment. Kindness, he said. Thank you, little brother, said Angelina. And what about Nona? Strength. Let's not forget Nona, said Nono. Matteo spoke without hesitation. Wisdom. And Nona laughed. Now I'm going to take a little break here and show you a picture and ask if you might recognize Matteo's grandparents. They were inspired by Bob Romeri and Joyce Romeri. What do you think?
I'm quite impressed.
So back to our story. No, where is Paragon Park? Do you remember when we read in the newspaper last winter about the schooner Nancy that ran aground in a storm and everyone was saved by the crew of the lifeboat Nantasket? That lifeboat came from Hull, and that's where the park is. Their gift is courage, Nono. Yes, Matteo, their gift is courage. How will we go to Hull today? Nona answered, we'll take the steamboat, Rose Standish. We need to leave now, or we'll be late. Matteo was so excited he wanted to run through the narrow streets of the North End, race past the farmer's market and the fish pier. At the harbor, a happy crowd gathered at the steamboat wharf. It was a festival of straw hats and parasols. Everyone waiting, everyone watching for a sight of the Rose Standish. Sassy seagulls perched on the wooden pilings hoping to snatch a snack from an open picnic basket. Suddenly, a young man pointed and shouted, there she comes, there she comes. Soon they were all on board and on their way. Nona turned to her grandson. What do you want to do first at Paragon Park? We could ride the giant roller coaster or fly the biplanes above the lagoon. Matteo had been thinking about this all morning, remembering the pictures he'd seen on postcards. I want to ride on a horse on the Grand Carousel. My friend Giovanni said they came all the way from Pennsylvania. Giovanni is right, said Nona. The new carousel came from the Philadelphia Toboggan Company. That's why the lead horse wears the letters P, T, C in front. See if you can find him. And the jumpers and the standers and the stargazers looking up at the sky. Matteo was still thinking about jumpers and standers and stargazers when the short trip to Hull was over. As they walked through the entrance to Paragon Park, he stopped and stared. The coaster was gigantic. He held his breath as the car clattered slowly upwards, paused, then sped down, and the passengers just squealing and screaming and shouting. Remembering to breathe again, he told Nona and Nono, that must be the biggest roller coaster in the world. Taking their hands, he walked forward. Let's go to the carousel. Entering the round building, he was dazzled by the lights, the music, the motion. He didn't know why, but he felt so happy. It was better than eating an ice cream cone, better than watching a parade. In front of them in the ticket line stood a mother and daughter, and the girl turned to Matteo. I'm Nell. What's your name? I'm Matteo. At that moment, the music stopped. The carousel went slower and slower. Nell announced, I'm going to ride that little horse with the beautiful saddle blanket. As they stepped onto the carousel platform, her mother led her past the little horse and into a jeweled chariot pulled by 2 large white horses. "Oh no, dear, that little horse isn't fancy enough for you. She looks so odd with a brown head and her back covered with spots. I thought we would ride in style in the Roman chariot." Nell shook her head and took a step back to where Matteo was waiting to make his choice. "Don't be difficult," scolded Nell's mother. "Mother knows best." A sad look came over Nell's face. She caught Matteo's eye, tried to smile, and nodded toward the spotted horse. He and Nell both knew the horse might have heard what her mother had said. Matteo knew just what to do. He ran over to the horse on the inside ring, patted her neck, and said, "Of course you are different, but that makes you special. I think you are amazing. Why, you're the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas, the ant's pants. My Nona says that sometimes grown-ups forget to see the world through eyes of love. They can miss good things right under their noses. And so here are the 2 children and their beautiful little horse." "You are just my size," said Matteo to the little horse. "I'm going to ride with you today. No, can you put me on this horse?" His grandfather lifted him easily and settled him in the saddle. "You have chosen well, Matteo. This is a beloved American Appaloosa, like the horses raised by the people of the Nez Perce tribe." Matteo touched the horse's head. "Your name will be Carina. That means you are loved." Just ahead in the chariot, Nell's mother heard everything Matteo said to Carina. "Nell, you were right. The spotted horse is wonderful. You can ride her next time." So Nell and her mother smiled together. Matteo leaned forward and he whispered in Carina's ear, "Your gift is joy." The lights blinked, the horses moved, the music began. As the years went by, Matteo returned to Paragon Park every summer to ride with Carina. Each time, he spoke to the horse with a beautiful saddle blanket. "Remember, Carina, you are very special. I think you're the bee's knees, the ant's pants, and the cat's pajamas." And then he would lean over and whisper in her ear, "Your gift is joy." And our story ends for today, but the story may continue. You may want to go to the Paragon Carousel across from Nantasket Beach. You might want to meet the little horse, Carina. You might want to tell her, your gift is joy. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I just love that story. And the pictures written by Susan Kilmartin, they're just wonderful.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. And thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad to join in our summer story time.
Was it hard to write the story?
The story almost came to me. I visited the carousel. I started learning about the carousel. I started learning about what it was like in 1928 in the Boston area.
Mm-hmm.
And I envisioned this little boy. And in a way, the story just came to me. So it was a great pleasure for me to do this.
Wonderful. And I had heard that if people do, are there books available?
Yes, over at the Carousel, they have a gift shop, and books are available over there across from Nantasket Beach.
So if you wanted to buy one of these books that Reverend Ann wrote, Reverend Ann Suzedell, and illustrated by Susan Kilmartin, then you could buy it. What wonderful. What a wonderful thing to have happen. You can visit the horse, yeah, Carina, and tell her that her gift is
Joy.
joy. Okay, super. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right.
The BIBLE